Hello, everyone. Hope you are well. Going to go over some news today and go over a quick story, personal story, and maybe get some feedback from you guys. I'll wait until there's a couple more people on the stream to do the feedback. So let's go right into the story I just noticed on CNBC. $10,200 unemployment tax break. Don't file an amended tax return, the IRS says. So President Joe Biden signed an American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. What's interesting is, at what point will we be done with the rescue? Like, if all the economists and everyone at the Fed and everyone is saying, oh, the economy is doing great, it's the biggest boom we've ever seen in economic growth. Oh, okay. Is it the biggest boom in economic growth, or are we still in rescue plan? I don't know. The $1.9 trillion Cerveza sickness relief bill gives the federal tax break on up to 10.2 in unemployment benefits. So what I'm assuming this is, those unemployment benefits were taxable income. And what Biden is now saying, or what this bill does, is say that 10,000 or up to, excuse me, the first 10,200 you receive in unemployment benefits is not taxable income, which is great. I'm all for no tax or income tax. So yeah, fantastic. The IRS told Americans to wait to file an amended tax return if they receive unemployment benefits 2020. Okay, right, got it. IRS also issued instructions Friday on how unemployed workers should claim the tax break. So just to be clear here, the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, which Biden signed Thursday, waives federal tax on up to $10,200 of unemployment benefits for single adults who earned less than $150,000 a year in 2020. The ceiling is $20,400 for two workers and a married couple. I mean, my goodness gracious. I'm just, how many married couples out there? I mean, or how many individuals are getting $10,000? It's just hard for me to believe that. But I just go back to those Bureau of Economic Analysis reports that I've used in so many of my videos, showing how much the average income has actually gone up in the United States as a result of these transfer payments. And I know a lot of people are in a rough shape, but my goodness. On aggregate total, Americans have quite literally never had more income. Never. Not even close. About 40 million people received unemployment benefits last year. 40 million people. Wow. Wow. So think about all the contradictory things going on right now. So we're told by the media and the people on CNBC, by the way, that economic growth is booming. I mean, I could go to, shoot, you know what? I forgot to do the damn screen share. Sorry if you guys have kids watching. I shouldn't use profanity, but I'm sure I saw it in the chat. You guys always forget. I need to put up a Post-it note. You know what's happening is I'm going to start traveling, and I'm going to give away my desktop that I usually do these on. And so, because I can't really travel with the desktop, so I'll be doing them from my laptop. So I've got to figure out some way to remember that on my laptop, but we'll figure that out. Anyway, going back to what I thought you guys have been seeing this whole time. So 40 million people receive unemployment. That's what I was saying. So it's just these terms, or these, what we're being told is that 40 million people. I mean, I did this can't be right. 40 million people. Let me show you guys why, if this is right, we should all be incredibly concerned. Remember the minimum wage video I did the other day on the George Gammon channel, and I probably talked about it here. Remember in that study that was done, I'm not sure who did that, but let's see if I've got it on my desktop. And I could pull it up for you guys. I think that might have been a PDF. But my point is that study, that it was on the minimum wage, and the entire labor pool was like 87 million. So I don't know how they were getting that, because you got to think of the people who are retired. You've got to think of the people who are under the age of 18, which I think their study was 18 and above. So that kind of made sense to me. Okay, well, there's around 100 million people that are in that age group. But let's just say that there's 100 million people. I don't see it on my desktop, or I'd go to it really quick. But let's just say, 100 million, that makes sense. Let me pull up well, I'm not going to do that right here on the live stream. But let's just say there's 100 million people, and 40 million, 40% of adults age, let's say working age, let's say 18 to, I don't know, call it 60 or something like that, are on unemployment benefits. Like, how is that? Yet we're told that we're living in an economic boom. Remember, some of the videos I did last week are talking about how the economy is on fire because of all the stimulus. So our economy is on fire, yet 40% of the people are on unemployment. And I know these numbers can't be right. Even if we have 200 million people, in the workforce, which we don't, but even if we did, that would mean 20% of Americans that are capable of working are received unemployment benefits last year. This is a staggering number the more I think about it. The average person got $14,000 in assistance. Wow. I didn't read this prior to doing the live stream, so I'm just shocked right now. I don't even know what to say. The first thing that comes to mind is just think of the economic distortions. This is a perfect segue into the story that I was going to tell you guys, kind of just an anecdotal thing here to think through. So you guys saw the article I was referencing. And the anecdotal story is, ever since I've been back in the United States, which has been about 6 months now. I'm supposed to move out of the temporary office here in Phoenix on Wednesday. But I've noticed that it's been incredibly difficult to get an Uber. Like it's normally when I'm in the United States and you click for an Uber, usually you get one in 5 minutes, especially if you're in an urban area. It's like no more than 5 minutes, and you can see all the little ones driving, like the little car icons, like driving around where you are. And especially within the last 2 months, I've noticed it's almost impossible to get an Uber. And where I am in Phoenix, I'm not off in farmland. You know what I mean? I'm right downtown, right by the Biltmore. Like, of all areas, this is where all the Uber drivers should be. And sometimes I get an Uber for one of my friends that are coming in or something like that if we're going out, and it's always like sometimes it can take 45 minutes to get an Uber. And so what I do around my place is, well, that doesn't really matter. That's the bottom line. It's just, and I've been trying to process like why? I don't understand the difference here. And finally, a buddy of mine was over this morning helping me pack up some stuff, and his buddy drives Uber all the time, and we were talking about it. He says, "Yeah, the Uber drivers, number one, they're not working anymore because they don't want to deal with all of the regulations that have come down from Uber headquarters. You got to do this. You got to wear gloves. You got to wear I don't know if they make more gloves, but a mask." And then what I guess Uber did is made it mandatory for the drivers to have hand sanitizer in the back. But what his buddy was saying is he said, "No, I stopped driving Uber because I had to pay for the hand sanitizer, and half the people that came in would just steal it, like half the passengers. So I was spending all my profit basically just giving away hand sanitizer to everyone." So he's like, "Screw it. I'm not driving Uber again until they get rid of these regulations." So he says part of the Uber drivers that aren't on board with the whole mask mandate, they're like, "Listen, screw it. I don't want to deal with the mask stuff." The other ones are like, "Screw it. I don't want to deal with giving away my paycheck basically for hand sanitizer." And then the other ones, which I'm seeing in the comments, you guys guessed it, and I didn't even connect the dots. They said that the people are getting so much stimulus money that they're like, "Screw it. I'm just going to sit home and smoke weed. I'm just going to go down to the dispensary and get weed brownies and just sit here and play video games on my $5,000 or whatever I've gotten in Stimmy check. Why would I go out and drive Uber?" And then another thing that I noticed is that if you can somehow get lucky and get an Uber, the one good thing is all the drivers that I've seen have like a really high rating, like a 4.9 or 5. And my buddy was thinking this through, we were just going back and forth. And he's like, "Yeah, that makes sense, because think about the last time you got an Uber driver and they had like a 4.5 rating or a 4.6. I mean, you guys that use Uber, you know what I'm talking about. When you get a driver that's like a 4.6, you're like, "Oh, great. This is going to be a nightmare." You know that it's going to be a nightmare, because if they've got a 4.5 or a 4.6, you know they're going to be doing something stupid. Like the car is going to stink. They're going to be a complete idiot. They're going to drive all over the place. They're going to, like, I remember, I don't do the Uber thing. I just do the Uber Black. But like, I remember, I don't know, can't remember when I was here last or something like that in the States, but there was no Uber Blacks available. So I had to do like an Uber, whatever the normal one is, X or whatever. And the kid is sitting here driving. I'm not kidding you. I'm not exaggerating. He's eating chicken McNuggets while driving. And I'm in back. He's got the windows rolled up. So I've got to smell that garbage while he's sitting there driving like with his knees. He's like not even driving with his hands, because he's got the box of nuggets and he's like dipping it in the ranch sauce, and it's like spilling all over the place while he's driving with his knees. And I'm like, what is this kid? Like, how can you not know? That's totally unprofessional. Like how can that not be going through your head? Like, you know what? I've got someone in the back that's paying to be here. Maybe I shouldn't be driving with my knees. Maybe I shouldn't be eating McDonald's chicken nuggets while I'm giving this person a ride. And then I said that to my buddy because I was so pissed off when he dropped me off at the bar or whatever. He's like, "Yeah, the kid's stoned. The kid's probably just, smoked 8 joints or something like that an hour ago. So he's got the munchies. So he doesn't care about you. He just cares about his McNuggets." But my point is, that's the kid that's got a 4.5 or a 4.6. So when you take it to the next step and think about all the people that would have the mentality that, "Hey, I've got my stimulus check. Why on earth am I going to go out and drive Uber? No way. I'm just going to sit here and get buzzed and and play video games or whatever, that's the person that's got the 4.5. The person that's got like the 4.9, you guys know this as well as I do. When you get someone that's a 4.9 or a 5, they're always very pleasant. They're very, not just conversational, but they're very professional, right? And those are the people that are probably, even though they're getting the stimmy checks, are still out there working because they're responsible individuals. They're not just complete losers. And so I think that this whole, why am I telling you this story? Because it just goes to show the, just not even unintended consequences, the perverse incentives that the government has injected into the economy as an effort to prop everything up. So you have to say, yes, there are some people that benefited, some people that needed stimmy checks or whatever. Sure, fine, I get it. But what you're not looking at is a cost benefit analysis. We're looking at the benefits, but we have to look at the costs. All those 4.5 and 4.6 Uber drivers now have been on vacation for basically 6 months or a year, let's say. And what does that do? What are they going to vote for the next time that they go out and you think they're going to vote for UBI? Of course they are. What incentive do they have to go out and just educate themselves on a new line of work, or to go out there and hustle, or do there's no, you're reinforcing the issues, for to say it nicely, that they already had, right? And that's why we read Thomas Sowell, and we learn so much from Thomas Sowell. And he's pointed out so many times that there in history, in any country, in the entire planet, there has never been a group that has been pulled out of poverty into affluence as a result of the government. Never. Not through welfare, nothing. Because yes, welfare or transfer payments, whatever you want to call it, it does help some people. I get it. But on net balance, you also have to consider not just the monetary effects, but the psychological effects that it has on individuals and the moral hazard that it creates on aggregate total. And I think what we're seeing, I mean, who knows if I can guarantee now whether the Uber thing is a result of Stimmys, I don't know. The guy says it's definitely a result of the mask thing and everyone's stealing their hand sanitizer. But if it's Stimmys, that could be, I'm just speculating. I'm completely guessing. But as far as this distorting our economy, that goes without saying. That is a given. And then also, as far as just you can't get a damn Uber. So I'd be curious to hear what you guys, your experience in your local area with Uber, and if you've had the same experience, that it's just completely, before 2 minutes max, and you got one. Now you're lucky if you can get one within 20 minutes. And I don't know if that's just a Phoenix thing, or if you guys are seeing it in your area as well. So let me know. I know the comment is delayed by a couple seconds, but I'd be curious to know what you guys have seen. Yeah, so glad I'm watching this from Grand Cayman. Yeah, it's gotten long. So Xavier says it's gotten a lot longer in the Bay Area. New York, pretty quick. Okay. Yeah, but see, New York, the demand has probably gone down so much that in the areas where the demand is still pretty much the same because there's a lot less restrictions. That's what I'm really curious. I see it in my area. Okay. Everyone smokes pot and all, that's for sure. Same in Stockton. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like the majority of the people are kind of seeing what I'm seeing in with the Uber. Anyway, food for thought. So one last thing that I'll say here, we'll wrap up this live stream, is normally I've got a ton of time and I've thought through what I'm going to do tomorrow's whiteboard video on, but I haven't, just because I've been busy packing and getting ready to move on Wednesday. So let me know in the comments what you guys would like to see as a whiteboard video tomorrow. And maybe there's some topic that you guys have always said to yourself, oh man, I wish George would talk about this, or oh man, I wish George would explain, something with the money supply or the Eurodollar market or something like that. I'm curious what you guys have. And if I see something come up consistently here in the comments, I might go ahead and who knows, do a video on it tomorrow for the whiteboard video on George Gammon channel. So let's see what we've got here. Getting tired of this. Oh, he's getting tired of the pot smokers throwing him under the bus. Yeah, hey, listen, I know the alcohol causes more problems than weed. I get it. I totally get it. I'm just, when I'm saying that, I'm using that like the term moody millennial. I know that there's tons of millennials out there that are fantastic and far better than my generation. I'm just using it as a blanket statement, as kind of a, you guys know who I'm describing with that. You totally get it. Real estate investing. Yeah, okay, that might be a good one. How stimulus affects bank reserves with SLR and CR. Yeah, that'd be, I'd have to tie, we'd have to connect a lot of dots on that one. Do you think the digital dollar will take taxes? Yeah, I do. Could crypto start free banking? Yeah, I think so. Bitcoin, I think it might start full reserve and then transition into free banking with fractional reserve. A lot of the diehard Bitcoiners don't think so, but I don't. I think they're kind of missing some key macro components. Angelique asks, how high will the CPI go? Okay. Will the Fed dollar destroy smaller banks? Yeah. So like a central bank digital currency and go over how that, what I might do, Peter, is I might do a video on that last Macro Voices episode with Russell Napier. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Russell was talking about how the government may really start to control the lending practices of the commercial banking system to try to limit inflation. So as an example, so right now, let's just say you've got two main sources of money creation in the real economy. Usually it's the commercial banking system creating more loans. As most of you guys know from watching my channel, that's creating more money supply. When the banks create a loan, that's creating currency that didn't exist before. So prior to all the nonsense we've seen over the last 12 years, that's how the majority of money supply was either created or destroyed through the process of lending or paying back loans. Now what we've seen is there's additional money supply being created by the government spending money itself, and the Fed monetizing the deficits. Okay, so this could lead to inflation. So Russell Napier, his idea is that the government continues to spend and even spend more, but the way that they would cap inflation is through price controls, and then by limiting the amount of loans the banks can do, because if they allow the banks to continue to lend at their current rate, while at the same time the government created all this additional money, that could potentially create consumer price inflation. So to get rid of the consumer price inflation, the government wants to kind of direct where all that money is going now from the fiscal side. So they're like, okay, now we've got a kneecap, for lack of a better term, the commercial banking system. So they're not creating as much money supply as they used to. And through that mechanism and price controls is how we're going to try to manage or micromanage inflation. And this goes right into what Peter was talking about in his comment. I can't find his comment. Oh, okay. Yeah, with the smaller banks, and that if we go to a central bank digital currency, then that would give the Fed or the government the ability to extend loans and then therefore take the third party commercial banks out of the equation. And then it would be much more. I forgot the term Russell used. He didn't call it central planning like I called it. He called it a more he had some way of saying it that didn't imply communism. That was kind of a nicer way to say it. It was like a more of a command economy. I think he called it a command economy. So yeah, Peter, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that. I don't even know if that's what you're asking, but you just said, "Will the Fed dollar destroy smaller banks?" But yeah, that's a good one. Maybe I'll do it on. Yeah. That's good. Okay, let's see if we got any others. So far, that's definitely my favorite. Oh, I don't know if it. Huh. I think my chat froze. Shoot. Sorry, guys. Hopefully, you can still hear me. I don't know if you can. It says it's still live, but my chat feed completely froze. So I'm going to assume you guys can hear me. I'll go ahead and do some shout outs, although I can only do a few because my screen won't move. Hopefully it's not frozen on your end. But we got John the accountant. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Wayne Smith, Kevin Glick, Silver Forum, Robert McKenna, Coffee Hound, Peter Frauen, Keep Digging, Brad Rusum, James Bunch, Travel Stick, Bill McKenna, Polygon. I can't see it because my screen's frozen, or my screen is frozen. My mouth is frozen as well. All right, guys, enjoy your afternoon. I'll see you in a couple hours on the next live stream.